Editing can be a slow process, but how can we speed it up like the Flash, but not crash and burn like the Flash? That joke's still relevant, right? What are some things that we can do to speed up our edits so that way we're not sitting here trying to sort through everything and take more and more time to edit a minute, 2 minute, 3 minute long video? Well, here are some things that I use to help speed up my editing, more so in Adobe Premiere, but I'm sure it can work in most editing softwares, I assume. So the first thing I'd say is even before you get into editing, before you get into production, is to plan out your videos beforehand. If you go in with more of a plan of, hey, we're going to film this and we're going to capture this and this is how we want to tell the story, it's going to be a lot easier to edit because you already have most likely shot everything that you need to. You didn't shoot a bunch of stuff in excess where you're like, oh man, we got so much extra footage of what do we want to do with this? You have a general idea of, okay, here's the script or here's the outline. This is what we need to follow for the story. Next thing, when you are editing, is to create folders. Now, a lot of times before, I used to just throw everything in the main folder of the project and be like, yeah, here's all the video, here's all the music, here's all the sound effects, here's all the audio, here's all the sequences, here's all the graphics, here's all the link comps to After Effects or whatever. And it was just a mess. So sometimes I'd look to find things and I wouldn't remember what they'd be called, or they would have weird names to them. So I'd kind of be searching and rolling through and trying to look at everything. But if you set everything up in folders, it's going to be a lot easier to find what you're looking for. Now, speaking on that, the next thing we could focus on is our workspace. Now, Adobe, and I'm sure a lot of other editing softwares, have the ability that you can adjust your workspace. Now, with Adobe, you can go up just to Window, Workspaces, and click a pre-created workspace, or you can customize your own and save it. So that way, what you're using most is easily available. So adjust it to the way that makes work more efficiently for you. Something else that you could take a little bit more time on the front end that I think is totally worth it is to create proxies. Now, what are proxies? Proxies are lower quality versions of your videos. So what you can do in Adobe is you can highlight all the videos, right click, create proxy, and then it will create those proxies right next to your original files, and it will throw them in a media encoder and render them out. Now, that's where the front end takes a little bit longer because the videos have to render, they'll go through the process, and it will take some time. But it's one of those things that may feel like it's taking too much time, but it'll be worth in the end, especially if you're filming in 4K video, 6K, it's going to be taxing on your computer, depending on the computer you're using. And playback could be laggy, slow. And when that happens, it becomes irritating because you're trying to craft a story, you're trying to see if an effect works, you're trying to see if this B-roll looks good, but when it's playing slow, it's hard to actually review it, and you're just kind of like, well, I think this looks right, and you're trying to maybe, let's say, you're pulling it one way, but it's not really moving, so you pull it more, then all of a sudden it loads up, and now it's completely off on the right side of the screen, you're like, what the frick, this isn't what I wanted. And in Premiere, there's a toggle button that you can just click to turn on and off the proxies. So now that we're in the nitty-gritty of the editing, how else can we speed up the edits? Well, one of the things that I love using is shortcuts. It's like speed running. When they're playing a game and they're like, oh, this stat right here will save me 2 frames. This stat will save me 8 frames. This will save me 2 seconds. It seems so small, but all that time ends up adding up, and that's what your shortcuts can do, is to really help speed up your workflow, and that's how you can speed run your edits. So when I'm looking to cut a video, instead of going over the razor tool, clicking it, coming back, clicking, I'll just hit C, which changed my mouse to the razor tool, and I can click, 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 and cut everything. So it just makes the process a lot easier, is to know shortcuts that you're going to use, obviously, that are going to be beneficial to you. Now, the last tip to speed up your edit, I'd say, is to use presets, templates, and moguarts. Now, that's something before in the past I used to think was like, no, that's lame to do that. If you want something, you create it yourself. That's not always the best or most efficient way to do it, because if you go, oh man, I want a vector image of a guy playing a casino game and then it catches on fire, well, to create the illustration could take hours. Then you got to animate it, and it's just a whole entire hassle. Where you can go to something like Storyblocks, not sponsored, Pond5, not sponsored, You can use those websites to find assets similar to that or templates that can make your editing faster. So those are some tips that can help you speed up your editing workflow. And if you watch the whole video all the way through, go ahead and comment Christmas, because I'm actually editing a video for holiday lighting. Ooh. So I don't know, just leave that as a comment. People are gonna be like, what are they talking about? It's August or September or February, depending when somebody's watching this. I don't know. And it'll be really funny. So leave a comment down below. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.